got it. Got it. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll do a do-over. So happy 2024, everybody. Just again, and we hope you're having an awesome new year. We are the Fred REIA, and Rick and I are the group leaders. Just want to give a short intro about that. If you are joining us on YouTube, make sure that you like and subscribe. That would be great to help things out. And we will be sending out this recording by the YouTube link, and Nayia is going to be sharing some shorts too. So that's awesome. Looking forward to hearing what she has to say tonight. So actually, just a little bit of a retake. Like I said, I'm a real estate broker in Virginia and in Florida. Our main real estate brokerage is in Virginia, and we also have short-term rentals in Florida on the Gulf side and in Fort Lauderdale. So we have both sides covered, and we started, I started investing in my 20s when I was in the military. And that was with house hacking. I turned a duplex into a triplex. And that's how Rick and I kind of started beefing up our portfolio about 10 years ago. We were house hackers. So our brokerage does sales and property management. So we can help you with residential sales and also with renting and property management. So Rick, go ahead, and you want to add to that?
Sure. I'll add to it. So I am a Justin Bieber fan. I love real estate. I clean toilets. I plunge toilets. I clean hair out of drains. So I'm a part-time plumber. I also assemble furniture for my short-term rentals, and I'm getting really good at it. It takes me about 3 hours per piece of furniture. I've assembled all kinds of pool equipment supplies. You wouldn't believe it. But I still love real estate despite that. I am quite old, so I can feel it in my back and my knees and my joint. But I'm so excited about real estate, guys. It's totally worth all those aches and pains and groans.
And he's found out in retirement he could be a professional assembler for IKEA. Definitely. Yeah, this year has been a lot of assembling. I'll tell you that. Awesome. Okay. So we do have a disclaimer. Let me share that disclaimer with you. And if you guys can see that, the topics discussed here are for general real estate and educational purposes only. This is not considered investment advice. Both Rick and I are real estate brokers, and in that hat, we can give you professional advice if we're helping you with that type of a transaction. But do your own research. Always seek individualized expert advice for accounting, with legal advice, investment professionals, and all of those different services. So definitely need to do that. We are also a member of National REIA, so we have a very low yearly membership of $70. We do not do it to make a profit. We only do it to give you the benefits if that's what you would like. So these are the benefits of National REIA. You do have access to their online education. You also have access to the Home Depot Pro benefits and different ones for like advertising, Office Depot, things like that. So if you are interested, either just let Rick or I know and we can get you on board. All right, so we do have Nayia tonight. She's going to be talking about creative financing and subject to investing. In January, we have on January 25th, there is the in-person networking at Wegmans that is going on. And then on February 8th, we are doing how to rehab a house. So that is still happening. It might be a good time for some flips as long as you can get a good deal because real estate is still going up. And if this interest rate goes down, it's going to go up some more probably. So we'll see what happens. Then we've got another networking at the end of, we do the networking on the 4th Thursday of the month at Wegmans. And then in March, we have another speaker too that's not listed here and one for April. So if you know of any speakers that you'd like to have us bring on, just let us know and we are happy to do that. So we go with the motto Rick has here to live like nobody else lives now so that you can live like no one else lives later. That's the whole point. Definitely. Okay. So Rick, would you like to introduce Nayia?
I would love to. So I'm going to try not to read because I know Nayia, but Nayia is a national real estate investment coach, and she's also a speaker. She's purchased her first property over 20 years ago. She's a very young lady, but she did it and she was resourceful. She did it at 23. And now what she does is she helps educate real estate professionals on how to bring sellers into how to leverage their existing loan. She's also has a passion for investing and giving back and paying forward. She has this new program called the Flex Model, and I'm excited to learn more about that. But she has profited more than 1.8 million in less than 24 months, and she's bought and sold more than 40 million of her personal real estate. She has a program called Value Amplifying, and it brings out solutions to sellers to work with restructuring creative deals. This is that subject to that we talked about. And her mission is to help us become better entrepreneurs and become multimillionaires. She's helped us. We're a walking testimonial. We got one as well as a subject to. And we thank Nayia for that. And please welcome Nayia. And Nayia, if you have any other additional things I didn't add, please
This is
them.
perfect. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Anna. You guys are fantastic. I'm going to share my screen because I'm super excited to show people how they can help sellers, and solve their problems and make great money doing it. So let's see where my screen.
I do have it on, so you can share also. So
awesome. Thank you. Yay, super excited. You can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So the disclaimer, which Anna already covered, I'm not an attorney or an accountant. So please, even though I will be sharing how I do certain things, I even might have some documents on the screen. Everybody has to do their due diligence in their area because every state works differently and certain documents need to be tweaked. So we'll jump right in. So this is my why. This is a picture of my boys, pictures of my boys when they were younger and now as they're getting older. I have 3 amazing kids, Yorgo, Vasily, and Aristoteli. And by the way, if you haven't noticed, I am Greek, but I'm not just Greek, I'm Spartan. I think you can see in the back, the picture, the Acropolis. So that's a little hint, right? The reason I got into real estate is because first, I'm a full-time mom. And when the crash happened in 2009, my husband at the time had lost his job and we couldn't afford daycare because it would be like $2,000 per kid per month. So even though I had gotten my license back in 2004 and I was an agent, when the crash happened in 2009, I was a staying-at-home mom. And the only way for me to help support my family was real estate because of the flexibility it brought to me. So today I'm going to cover, how people can leave money on the table and how not to do that using creative financing. Okay, I will cover misconceptions about creative financing. I will talk about the value amplifier method with my approach. The method is the identity piece, the value amplifier. I will talk about a roadmap that we have created. And at the end, I will also give you all a free gift of my purchase and sales agreement. And we will also have a Q&A. And by the way, I have a gift for everyone. We have a wealth roadmap session that we will give to everyone for this year. It's the beginning of the year 2024. Opportunities are around the corner. I believe that there's so much abundance out there and we have opportunities, every day. So let's jump right in. The reason why I call it the value amplifier, as Rick mentioned, I have been a mentor and a coach to investors all over the country since 2015. I realized that 80% of the coaching that I've done has been more on the personal development piece than on the real estate deal structuring. Guys, this is huge. The reason is people don't have the identity they need to have in order to get the results they want to get. So for me, the reason I created the value amplifier like program. It's what I see as a value amplifier. When we take that intention first, we have that mindset and we buy into this identity, okay? As a value amplifier, see yourself as someone who intensifies the degree of value you bring to everyone you work with. So if you see yourself as a value amplifier, and if that's your intention with the sellers, instead of how can I take advantage of somebody's situation, because they can feel that energy, right? When you're thinking with the intention of, oh, like I can take advantage of this situation, I'm going to give a lowball offer. Oh, it's money, money, money. If you're taking the human piece out of it, I guarantee you, you will not be successful in this business. You might be able to do a couple deals here or there, but it won't be consistent. So the value amplifier approach is bring the human piece first. Okay. So and this is how I've mixed it in with a creative financing, and I combined everything. And using creative financing, it's how you add more tools in your toolbox. That's what it does pretty much. Take you from being a limited solution provider to a value amplifier, having more tools in your toolbox, solving more problems to sellers, okay? And creating more wealth for you. Okay? That ultimately, it's a win-win. I'm all about, working smart, not hard, and solving problems while I'm making the most amount of money that I can. We will jump right into the 3 misconceptions about creative financing. First, a lot of people may think that creative deals are hard to find, okay? Or that you need to use your own money, okay? The other one is that you can't buy pretty houses. So if on the chat, if you guys can put in the chat which one of these is of most interest to you, that would be fantastic. So we can keep things. I would be curious to see where everybody's at on regarding these topics or the misconceptions. And let me jump in right into the first misconception, that these deals are hard to find. Guys, this is a property in Reston, Virginia that I found on Craigslist, okay? I had my virtual assistant out of the Philippines call this seller who had a property on Craigslist, and they were in the middle. This is their situation. Because the trick is, this is the secret. I'm going to tell you a big secret. You're not looking for houses. You're looking for situations, or you're looking for people, humans that have situations, and these situations happen to have a house that goes along with it. So their situation was they were building another house, okay, single family home, and they couldn't qualify for 2 mortgages. He had it listed on the MLS, it didn't sell, and he put it on Craigslist. Well, this property, okay, when I first saw it, this looks nice and pretty. But when I first saw it, the reason why it hadn't sold, it's because it had a purple room, a green room, and those plastic accordion type closet doors. And I knew that, I mean, this is an easy cosmetic fix, so it's no big deal. And he also had an existing loan of about $323,000. You can see this HUD right on here. Well, guess what? The fair market value of that property was about $385, and I bought it, okay, subject to the existing loan for less than $5,000. What I brought to the table, you can see this circle, I brought $4,682 to closing. And I bought this property. I did like just paint. I didn't really put any money into it. I did a lease with an option to buy for a year. My tenant gave me an option consideration of, my tenant, I call them tenant buyers, brought in an option consideration of $10,000 non-refundable. Guess what? He had a job relocation and he didn't exercise the option to buy it. So then I kept the $10,000. he was paying the rent to me every month, right? Which was covering the mortgage. So when he moved out because he couldn't buy it, I renovated the bathroom and I did some work in the patio in the back, and I sold it outright on the MLS. And within 18 months, and I made a profit of over $75,000. And when you look at what I put into it, guys, this is leverage. Leverage is one of my favorite words. And this is part of, I have the flex model. The flex model is the how to. Once you're a value amplifier and you want to solve sellers' problems, that's your identity, that's your mindset, that's what you go into. Then you're using the flex model because you're looking to solve their problem. F stands for flexibility, but it only comes after friendship. When sellers are your friends first, then they're willing to be more flexible, right? So when they're more flexible, that means you can leverage. And what I leverage is I leverage the existing loan, right? E stands for expectations, clearly defined expectations. The first X is exceeding those expectations, and the second X is the multiplier effect, right? Because you could go out there and do this many times and create wealth for yourself. So that's how this is just one way you can attract opportunities. Obviously, real estate is a marketing business, right? So one of our strategies of one of our campaigns is calling for sell by owners. Is this something you guys can do? Absolutely, right? Everybody can do this. The second misconception, okay, is do you need to use your own money? Not if you're leveraging. And by the way, did you know that you can even get paid to buy a house? So this is a house. When I bought this, it was only 3 years old. Ben, this reminds me of the situation of the property that you're buying right now, the VA loan. This was a VA loan. It was a colonel in the military who had it. He was only here for a year in this property. And he didn't get a chance to build a lot of equity in this year time. And he got transfer orders to go to another state. He had it on the MLS for a couple of months. And guys, the reason why I say the winter months are the best, is one of the best times to buy houses. I bought this during November. I always buy houses like between October, when after schools opens, from September to February, March. That's my best buying time, my buying season. Not that I don't buy houses at other times, I do, but I buy the most during fall and winter months. So this is what happened in this situation. This property was gorgeous. And when I did the numbers with him and I told him, based on a loan, this is a purchase and sales agreement, and he had a loan of almost $468,000. And when I did the numbers, if you sold the house traditionally with a real estate agent, right, then he would have still brought money to the table to pay off the loan. So what I said to him was, well, we could buy the house in 2 weeks, and you would be bringing the money anyways. So just you'll bring the money to closing to us. He agreed. So this he brought to the table 2 weeks later. Oh, by the way, his wife was an attorney and it was moving to New York. This is the HUD. He paid me to buy this house. Okay, $43,000. I mean, he brought $50,000 to the table. After closing costs, I got paid right away. What I ended up doing is, for this particular property, I rented it out for 2 years. So my tenant was paying the rent, they're paying the mortgage. The rent was paying the mortgage. And I sold it 2 years later. I sold this one in 2001, and I made another $111,000 when I sold it because of appreciation. The prices went up. So not only did I get paid when I bought it, I also got paid when I sold it based on the numbers. So, like, how is everybody following me? Am I going too fast? Give me some feedback.
Doing good,
Now,
I think.
were you profiting in terms of the rent, and the mortgage payment that you had to make? Were you
Rick,
still
that's a good
profiting there?
question. That's a good question because depending on certain markets that we're in, right? Northern Virginia, certain markets, fair market rent may not equal the what the mortgage payments are. Many times because of the higher loan amounts, okay, the mortgage payment may be higher than what we could get for fair market rent. So sometimes I would negative cash flow. So in that particular property, I think I was negative about $150 a month, but I didn't care. You know why? Because on the back end, I was getting about $1,200 a month in principal balance reduction because he had an amazing interest rate of like 3.75.
Got it. I
So
see.
sometimes I'm willing to be negative cash flowing, because I evaluate, if I'm getting principal balance reduction every month, that's going to overcome, surpass the negative amount. Who cares? And this
Right.
was a new property. So that's when we're in certain markets like Northern Virginia, that may be the case. But other markets, you might be, cash flowing a lot more. As long as you evaluate all your numbers, like I would not walk away from structuring a creative deal, even if the prices may be higher, the mortgage amounts are higher. Does that make sense?
Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome. Here's another example. Okay, one of the things I want you to think about is never. One of my favorite books is The Four Agreements. Okay, written by Miguel Ruiz. And the four agreements are this: be impeccable with your word. Okay, I always tell people don't make promises you can't keep. The second agreement is don't make assumptions. Okay, don't take things personally, the third. And the fourth is always do your best. So this example is a case study of if you come across a seller that has a situation and they have a lot of equity, don't make an assumption that they'll need all their money now. Okay, so this is a property in Alexandria. The sellers had it on the market. It was an expired listing. They had some health issues. They had two properties that they were selling. One was under contract, okay, and it was selling. By the time I met the two sellers here, by the way, I say that I'm going to give you some golden nuggets. One of the things I do is I tell people that it's our company policy for all sellers to be present when I do my presentation or when I go look at the property to see if it meets my buying criteria. That's huge. And one of the things that I didn't know is that the husband had recently had surgery and he had his legs amputated. And he was doing physical therapy. I didn't know this, but so during one of their therapy sessions, we scheduled after his therapy, we scheduled an appointment for me to look at the property, and then we went to a local Starbucks to talk about their situation, the property. Well, the wife told me that one of their properties was under contract, right? And over the phone, I already had this information because I fill out my lead sheet, and she had told me that they had a lot of equity. They wanted, they had it listed for $390. That was their asking price. And they had a mortgage of around, she told me over the phone 180. It ended up being a little higher. So I knew there was a lot of equity. But you know that so many investors would not go on an appointment because they would think that, well, what if they need all their money? I don't have the money to buy this, and this is a prettier house. It's not a rehab. It's not a property that needs to be renovated, so I won't get it for 70 cents on the dollar, right? Have you noticed that most of the houses that I'm buying are prettier houses? I'm not competing with the rehabbers out there that have to go and find houses, 60, 70 cents on the dollar. Using creative deal structuring and financing opens a whole new door to getting so many more deals, guys. That's why I felt like I won the lottery when I did this. What is interesting? Okay, I'll answer questions in a little bit because this is a question from Melissa. So going back to this property, these are pictures from the property. They were renting out. It was a rental. They had some issues with tenants. They were a tired landlord. So I structured a creative deal. I asked them, this is something that you guys need to keep in mind. What is their situation? And because I knew they were selling another investment property, I asked what would be their tax consequence. And then I asked them another very important question is, do you need the money now? They said no. So when they said no, I was like, yes, we can structure a great deal. So when I do it like a net equity worksheet. I do my numbers and I do my numbers backwards, and it would come out to an equity of about $120,000 for them. And they agreed to wait for a term of up to 5 years, 60 months, at a 0% interest rate. Guys, this is huge. I bought this house within a few weeks, okay? I took over the existing loan of $200,000, okay? Our purchase price was $320,000, and I gave them a promissory note, okay, of $120,000 at a 0% interest rate. I only paid closing costs for both sides. So I bought this property that was worth about $385,000, okay, or $390,000, was in that range, because I never pay retail. The most I'm willing to pay for a property, if it meets my buying criteria, is up to 90% of the fair market value, right? Because you always make your money when you buy. So you have to make sure your profit margin is in there, even on pretty houses. Okay, so I bought this house for $5,000. This is what I brought to the table at closing: $5,420.67. And I ended up renting it, doing a lease with an option to buy. I got $10,000, again, similar to the Reston deal. I got $10,000 non-refundable option consideration. My tenant stopped paying. Okay, so I had to evict him. Good thing Virginia law is pro-landlord, so we took care of that immediately. He lost his option consideration because he defaulted, and then I put it on the market, and I sold it within a year. And so I got $53,000 at closing, but because this property, I ended up making over $62,000 on this one, because this is a property that I was cash flowing $1,000 a month. Because of the low mortgage that they had, right? The mortgage payment was much lower than fair market rent. So in this property, I was cash flowing. I mean, knowing what I know now, I would have kept all these houses longer. It's just that being in the business, I wanted to pull the money out so I could buy 2 or 3 more houses, right? And the other benefit of doing creative deals is you're paying taxes on like long-term capital gains versus ordinary income, where if you're a rehabber and you're flipping houses in less than 12 months, you're at a higher tax bracket. So is everybody following me with that?
Right.
Okay. And by the way, do you know that you could do this? And what if you buy a house and move in there yourself? So this is a property that I bought. in a gated community. The owner was a retired CIA agent, and I met him. This is funny. I met him at a UPS store. Okay, he was retired and he was working part time at a UPS store that I have a box at. So by the way, another golden nugget I'm going to give you: never use your address on your marketing material. No one should know where you live. Have a PO box or a UPS box where you get all the mail in. That is where I send all my mortgage statements for all my properties, utility bills, everything. I never use my address. So anyways, when I was there checking my mail, I was on the phone and he happened to hear me talk about one of my properties. He's like, what are you? Are you a real estate agent? I was like, no. I buy houses. I'm a solution provider. And long story short, I went to his property. It met my criteria. He wanted to move to Florida and play golf. That was his dream. So I bought this property and he actually paid me to buy it. I won't go into it, but it's like this is, you can bring solutions, solve sellers' problems, and make great money doing it. So using the value amplifier method where you put people first, okay, and then the flex model is how to, you can easily attract opportunities, close deals, okay, and grow your wealth. Did any of these sellers from these examples that I gave you, was anyone in a really distressed situation?
Didn't sound like it.
No. So when you are a value amplifier and your intention is to bring a solution and you have a way of showing your credibility, right? And you care about them genuinely, and would they be willing to do business with you? I say people do business with people they like and people they trust. So if they like you and they trust you, chances are they're willing to do business with you. So this is what has been the secret for me. And I've been successful doing it. And in 2023, I have a case study here with Jesse and Paola. These, I call them kids. They're amazing because they're in their 20s. They're engineers. And I met them about a year ago at a REIA event, similar to this, right? A presentation. And they met me, we started working together. And they have this is a case study they did about over the summer. And it was a referral from one of their friends. And the seller was behind on their mortgage just 2-3 months, a couple of months behind, and they were behind on their HOA payments. So with my help and using the flex model, they were able to buy this property. Okay, purchase price was $315. It's a townhouse here in Centerville. They brought to the table less than $20,000, $19,236, and the seller got $12,000, from it. And they sold it in 90 days. They put about $40,000 into it with updates and the holding costs. Guys, they netted $118,000 in 90 days. So I have a disclaimer. These type of results are possible, right? But not typical. Don't set these type of expectations. Obviously, they had my support with everything. And on Thanksgiving Day, I get an amazing email from them because I reached out to them. It's been an amazing journey working with both of them, and I started a community in 2023 called Grateful Family Partners. So here's an email I got from them saying that, Nayia, after we got screwed by Tony's a contractor that they had issues with, and after having so much trouble with their rental property in Landham, we had a lot of fear and doubt. We wondered if we were capable of having success in real estate. We considered getting jobs so that we could get by. Then we met you. Remember, these are engineers. They had engineering degrees, but they wanted to get into real estate. They got into real estate about a year before they met me, and they got into. The good thing is that their parents helped them with money, so that they got into some deals, and one of them was with a contractor that they were losing money in. So this is a little backstory. And then I helped them stop the bleeding. So I do coaching with individuals, and this is a couple that I've worked with within this year, and we've done amazing results. We've gotten amazing results with them. Going back to the email, they said, "You brought us hope and guidance. Your positivity, confidence, and hope helped us get through that difficult time. It's crazy to look back at where we were a year ago. We're so thankful for all the knowledge, support, and trust you have given us. We know we can count on you in business and in our personal lives. And you can count on us too." Guys, it's all about people. It's about relationships. We're so grateful to be part of the Grateful Family community, and we know that your vision will come to fruition. I haven't told you, my mission, my vision is to create 1,000 multimillionaires. So they're saying, we were talking about this yesterday. We know that we will be one of your first successful millionaires by the end of 2024. They're on their way to do that right now with what they have on their plate and the deals that they're doing currently. So there's a lot to be grateful for, and we know we will be even more grateful a year from now. We love you, Paula and Jesse. This was on Thanksgiving Day that they sent me this.
Very cool.
So yeah, I have been playing this real estate game for a little over 20 years, and this seed got planted inside of me where I love making an impact, being a role model, supporting others how to do this. So when I created the Grateful Family Partners, my mission is to equip 1,000 value amplifiers. This is the identity that everybody needs to take on first, right? And then to become Grateful Family millionaires with the knowledge, skills, and resources where they can compassionately guide home sellers through successful transactions while empowering themselves to build robust portfolios that create financial freedom. And the vision is for them to contribute to their community and creating ripples of impact. Because when we take this approach, when we take the value amplifier approach with all the relationships that we have in our lives, whether it's our contractors or even our family members, it makes a huge difference, right? And family, I have an acronym that's these are the values, right? It's all about family, putting you first. Abundance is available for all of us. You can master your skills, empower yourself to create the life that you want. You can pay it forward, impact, legacy, and then you. So one of the things that I love, I don't know, has anyone read this book or have heard of it? 10X is Easier Than 2X by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. One of the reasons that I love creative financing is that, to me, that's what I felt like I have the ability to 10X versus 2X my business. And if anyone is only an agent or a wholesaler, imagine what would you have to have in place to make $1 million? Or let's say if $1 million is just too far out, you don't believe it. What if you wanted to make $100,000 or $200,000 in your real estate business, whether it's part-time or full-time? Even at that rate, you still need to create a machine, right? A machine, a system, because if you work as an agent, okay, and you're getting paid commission that you're splitting with your broker, what's an average commission after splits? Even in a market like Northern Virginia, you're looking at what, $10,000, $15,000? I don't know, Rick, Anna, you tell me what's an average commission that an agent is getting?
Yeah, I'm saying 5% right now, but it's 2.5 a side.
Yeah, exactly. But what I'm saying, if you do only one side, right, How
Right.
much money do you make? Like between $12,000 to $15,000, right?
That's correct.
Right.
So the average sales price is 429,000. You take 3% of that, it's $12,000.
Exactly. So if you're doing $12,000, okay, how many transactions do you need to have? Right? It's a lot of transactions. But if you learn how to leverage, how you, instead of, imagine you're an agent, and if you have the investor hat on first, where you're going to a seller, okay, or even if you're a wholesaler, okay, either one, you could be an agent or a wholesaler, and you go to a seller and you're thinking outside of the box, and you're thinking leverage, you're following the flex model, they like you, they trust you, and you could solve their problem in a similar way. They could get the same results. At the end of the day, they're going to get very similar results. Even the people in Alexandria that I got $120,000 their net, they were willing to wait, right? Their net would have been close to what they would if even if they sold with an agent. Maybe I gave them a little bit more money to wait. They didn't need the money at that time, right? So they got the same results. They got the same net, $120,000, okay, as their equity. But what did I leverage? If I went in as an agent, I would have maybe made on 395,000 or whatever I sold it. I think 399. My commission would have been $12,000, right? I would have split that with my broker, but I ended up making $63,000 within a year. That's a big difference. Do you see how you can leverage and how you can 10x what you're doing? All it takes is focus and systems. And this is what I was doing when I was, taking this approach and I was solving sellers' problems. And you don't need a big team to do this. I had I have one full-time person, 2 VAs that can get this done. So I just want you all to think outside of the box. There's a smarter way to do things. And to me, when I came across creative deal structuring and financing and buy houses subject to, literally I felt like I won the lottery. So yeah. And here's an example. Tom is here with us. Tom is on my team. Tom is amazing. He's been in the real estate industry over 20 years. Okay. He has done over 340 deals. Guys,
Wow.
he's an agent. He's done over 340 deals. He's wholesaled a ton of deals. He's invested. He's done flips. He's done it all. He is like amazing. Okay, and he is the director of our community services. So this is a deal that he did. Okay, because everything I'm showing you are actual deals that we've done. So this is a deal that he did, and he wholesaled. And he made he made $22,500. And Tom, here, give a little background on this. How many properties was it? Where were they at? And what do you wish you had done differently?
Right. Well, really quickly, most of my 300 plus deals have been in Baltimore City. I grew up in Anne Arundel County. This is a 5-property package. I negotiated the deal with the seller. I brought the deal to the buyer and added my fee, and they said, that sounds great. And I made $22,500. In 2 years, all 5 of those properties doubled in value. And had I leveraged other people's money or brought in a lender or used cash and did a down payment and got a mortgage, I would have had $2,000 in net income every month, plus $400,000 in new equity in 24 months. So those properties have gone up actually a little bit more. So when Nayia and I talked about this, I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I made 22.5, and if I had leveraged basically about 70 grand, I would have that equity today. But I did want to mention a couple things really quick. Nayia, the friend that referred that deal for Jesse, that's Omar, and he's on the call.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Omar said the deal changed his life.
Oh,
And then we have another question in the chat, but I just wanted to tell you guys, you know, you've got to rinse and repeat if you're an agent or a wholesaler, and some of these deals you may want to hold on to, and we'll show you how. We can show you how.
yeah, it's this is a fun game. See real estate as a way to solve problems, make people happy, and create wealth doing it, and have fun along the way. So Mara, I've wanted to meet you, so I'm glad you're on the call. This is fantastic. I can't wait to connect. All right, so I also know that many people have blocks, and I'm here to, we're here, Wealth Thru Real Estate, the company, because I believe that we all have, it's our obligation. Actually, about 15 years ago, I was at a REIA event, and the speaker there said, it's our obligation to become wealthy, because only then will we be able to help other people. I wrote that down, and that got embedded in me in such a strong way, because we have such an amazing opportunity, okay, being in this real estate industry. And the more we educate ourselves and the skills that we learn, and when we put people first, being wealthy or becoming wealthy does not have to be hard. Okay. And it always starts with you, with energy, becoming a value amplifier, taking that identity, solving problems, right? And many people are afraid. They don't know how to do that. They don't have the confidence. But how much easier is it to have the confidence if you have someone that handholds you along the way, right? And has the strategy to do this, okay? Because it doesn't have to be hard, but if you want to figure it out on your own, well, your timeline, your learning curve could be quite a bit long. So when you learn how to have focus, okay, with picking your criteria, your market, your properties, then you can start making things easier, right? This is a marketing business. If you don't know where to market, how to market, we can help you do this. I know Anna and Rick do this in their communities, the way they're teaching. I know they touch on different things, on all of these areas, okay? We just have a way to put it all together, okay? And do this with a particular focus of creative deal structuring and financing, because that's my area of expertise, where I've learned how to leverage, right? And teaching people how to structure deals that are win-win, okay? And feeling confident doing it, and closing the deal, and then turning the sellers into raving fans. That's huge, okay? And then the multiplier effect doing this. So whatever your goal may be, whether you're doing, $10,000 a year in real estate, whether it's from rentals, whatever, or if you're a flipper or a wholesaler, you're doing 100K and you want to increase, to change that. My goal is to get people like Jesse and Paula, okay, to be able to do $1 million a year. And it doesn't have to be difficult, because if you buy 10 properties, 10, 15 properties that each can make you 50K, especially when we're talking about our market, right? Northern Virginia, with the prices being higher, it's not that hard. 10 to 15 properties where you could be making 50 to 75,000 or even 100,000 on those deals. Can't you get to your million in equity fairly quickly?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. So if anyone has roadblocks or they want a system, that we're here to support you. And the gift, beginning of 2024, we have a gift to you. We're doing a complimentary wealth roadmap session. Tom, you can put in the chat I'm looking for, okay, this is, guys, I'm excited because I want to find 3 individuals like the Jesse and Paula that I can work with to get them to their first creative deal in the next 90 days. And this deal has the potential to net you 25 to 50K. It may not, or more, obviously, because based on the market. I'm not saying 25 to 50K in 90 days. I'm saying by closing this deal, following this strategy, could it be possible to do a flip like the example with Jesse and Paula and they did with Omar, where they made $118,000 in 90 days? It could be possible, but don't have that expectation. What if you hold it for a year? Okay, and you turn it into a rental and you're building the 25 to 50K $1,000 in equity and you're building wealth for yourself. That's another way to do it. So I am giving one-on-one wealth roadmap sessions. So grab a spot. I would love to see where you're at, because unless you know where you want to go, you first have to evaluate where you are right now. So this is a complimentary session that we're giving to this group for Anna and Rick, and yeah, we can see if we're aligned. I also have we have a Facebook community of over 8,000 real estate professionals. Here's the group. Tom, you can put that link here as well, please.
Really quickly, Naya, I had a question. Naya, does creative financing deals work for long-term buy and holds? And typically we're looking to hold them for 2 years or more, right?
So this is the thing, depending on your exit strategy, yes, I have creative deals that I've held for a long time. Like, I didn't go over an example. I have a case study that I have a property that it was free and clear, and it's gonna make me to be honest, like, I don't want to throw this number and like freak you out, but this one property, because I structured it where the seller is the bank for me, and I structured a loan at a 0% interest rate. Okay, this property is making me over $700,000. Okay, I bought it for. So you could do creative deals, but you could use leveraging. You could do seller financing deals, and depending on how you structure it, it could be long term. Now, going back to this question, if there's a lot of equity that you need to bring to the table, depending on the terms that you create with the seller, if you say to the seller, I'll give you a promissory note for 5 years, and let's say this is a property that you want to keep more than 5 years, then one of the things that you need to have in the back of your mind is, my promissory note is due in 60 months. So as long as you don't make a promise that the loan is going to get paid off, you can pay off the note due, their equity, right? You can pay it off at the time that it's due and keep the loan in its place long term. I've done that as well. The other cool thing is, guys, you could even discount that promissory note, and I've done that as well. So many times, if a seller, it has, if I give them a promissory note, they have equity, and instead of selling the house in 5 years, and I sell it to my tenant buyer who exercises the option to buy it, I can call my seller up. If Rick is my seller, I can say, hey Rick, I owe you $50,000. Instead of waiting 3 more years for me to sell the property, are you willing to take $40,000 if I pay it off sooner? What are the chances that Rick will say yes? Pretty high, right? So you can discount the promissory notes as well if you pay them off sooner than the note is due. Any other questions?
So
Because I haven't
Nayia,
looked
there
at
were
that.
quite a few questions in the chat. Tom,
Okay.
did you go through and have her answer those, or do we need to go
Can
back?
someone help me out? Tom, you
Uh-huh.
want to go through the questions, or Anna, somebody go through the questions, and I'm happy to answer them.
Yeah,
So one of the ones, are you always selling the properties after the previous owner moves out? That was one.
Okay, I missed the first part. Am I what?
Are you always selling the properties after the previous owner moves out, or are these for long-term rentals?
Well,
Tom answered some of these along the way, but I don't know if you want to add to that. He said that you typically do a 2 to 5 year lease term.
no, no, not necessarily. Every property is different based on my exit strategy, right? Some I always the first of all, let me go back to the question. The question said after the seller moves out, you guys never buy properties with the seller living there. And I know the person who wrote this question is because they're probably thinking if it's a pre-foreclosure, okay, and someone has a situation and you want to buy that property, don't make the mistake of taking somebody's loan, reinstating it, and have them live there. Don't turn that seller into a tenant, even though they might want to be there, and they'll tell you that, oh, please, we don't want to move out of our house. We're in a situation. So you want the sellers to move out. Is this helping you out? If we go, depending on your marketing campaign, you can solve sellers' problems many different ways. And right now, the pre-foreclosures are going to be increasing. They already are increasing, everyone, because of the during COVID. So many people got what do you call it, guys? It's
like a deference of some sort.
Yes. Yes. They deferred their mortgage payments, all these things, and now they can't catch up. Okay. And I was talking to title, like a settlement agent, and a couple of mortgage brokers. What banks are doing right now, 99% of them loan modifications, they're not accepting them. So more and more people are going to come into foreclosures. So imagine if you take this creative financing approach and you start targeting properties that have equity, okay, or they have a first and a second. So the example that I gave with Jesse, okay, the mortgage was behind a couple of months, right? And they were behind on the HOA as well. So what Jesse and Omar did is they brought the loan current, okay, and they helped the seller out by not going through foreclosure, right? So they helped his credit. They started making the payments every month. So that's a huge plus. So keep in mind in the back of your head that this could be a marketing campaign that you could do to help a lot of sellers out. But never, please, do not reinstate somebody's loan or have a seller live there, because if they cannot make those mortgage payments, they will not be able to pay you the rent that you need to cover those mortgage payments. And once they're in there, depending on, if you're in Maryland or DC, areas that are more pro tenant versus pro landlord, you're going to have a hard time doing that. And try to explain to a judge, if you had to, oh, I bought their property subject to the existing loan, I reinstated it, and now I'm trying to get them out. You don't want to come in this. So there's obviously documentation that I use. There's certain disclosures that I do. When you start learning to use these strategies, it's super important to do things right, okay? Where the seller understands what's happening. So there are documents that I have that I've paid over $10,000 for, okay, that I give with people, that I coached, and I buy every property in a trust, in a land trust. So there's things that I do that I don't want to trigger the do on sell clause.
Hey, Naya, a couple other questions. Ben asked, how do you pay the mortgage itself? Do you log into the seller's online account or do you coordinate your own account?
That's a very good question. Ben, yes. So at closing, right before closing, first of all, when you're doing this, you want to exceed the expectations for the seller, right? So you are very clear of how you're buying this property, and then you say, "Oh, if you're gonna take over their mortgage subject to by the house subject to the existing loan," you will let them know that at closing they will have to sign certain documents, disclosures, one of them being a power of attorney, an authorization for you to contact the lender, and you will need access to their mortgage. So the easiest way to do it is get their login access from them. Many times I have them change the password, and then I get access where I can log online and I can go to their profile, change the address, so the statements start coming to me, my PO box, and then
Oh,
that way I know what's happening.
sure, sure. Hey, Chuck mentioned this, and I definitely thought it was worth sharing for sure. Thank you for emphasizing the human element in deal making, and for expanding our thinking. And one of the things Nye and I talked about earlier is having meaningful conversations, asking great questions, and showing how much you care. And the old saying, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. So when we talk about the friendship piece and we talk about the bonding piece, we want to make sure they know we're trying to come up with a solution that makes sense for them and for us.
Correct.
And one other question. So put the property in the trust. Okay, gotcha.
I saw a question that Chad answered yet. So someone had asked where you find these deals. If you can elaborate on that, like how you find some of the deals.
Okay, so this is the marketing approach, guys. Real estate, just like in any other business, it's a marketing business. So imagine the marketing wheel has many spindles on it. You could have one campaign being contacting for sale by owners that are free, that are posting their properties on Zillow or on Craigslist. You have no idea how many houses that I've bought that way. Okay, so if you don't have a budget or a big budget to put towards your marketing, you could do that. Another way to do it is you could start doing direct mail, and then pick the type of seller you want to market to. You could do direct mail letters to absentee owners, for example, right? Properties just to see if they're tired landlords. You could do marketing to pre-foreclosures. You could do marketing to, I mean, you name it. You can even do it's called stacking, where someone could be an absentee owner and in pre-foreclosure. Or it could be someone between the age of 50 and 75, if you want to be very targeted for individuals that could potentially be in a phase of their lives that's transitioning, and you want to market those people. So there's so many marketing campaigns that you could do. You could pay a company to do online ads, or you could do online ads yourself. This is a question that we could spend hours getting into. There are so many ways to find sellers through marketing, but there's a way to get overwhelmed if you want to do it all. And that's why I tell people, pick one or two marketing campaigns and just stay consistent and focused on those two before you add a third. Don't try to do it all, because this is where overwhelm comes in, and you won't be successful, and you'll run out of money.
One of the things Rick said, and this is another one, Naya, is that we've had success. So two of ours came from actually a person that I had, like you said, it's about relationships. So it's a person that I knew. I had actually sold him the properties, and he just was retiring and didn't want to be an investor anymore. So what Rick had pointed out is that we had success with retiring landlords and tired landlords. So that is definitely a pool that you can target for people who are older and rent properties.
That's true. That's huge, and it's a lot more than you think. I had a list. This is the thing. The property that I bought that was free and clear, guys. This is huge. This is a very good marketing campaign. Absentee owners, especially between the retirement age that you could start marketing. You'll be surprised how many of them have free and clear properties. Do you know that about 30% of the houses in the US are paid off, free and clear? So imagine, okay, if you can create terms with those individuals, okay, to turn them into a bank for you, just like the deal that I did, because they didn't need the money. Imagine how
The
much
other
more
thing in
money
our
you can-
situation is they didn't need the money, but he was older and he didn't want his heir to get all the money at one time. So he wanted it to come to them over time as an annuity. And so it worked out as a win-win for everybody involved.
That's awesome. So, like the estate planning that particular person was doing was, and the other issue is always keep in the back of your mind is tax consequences, because they won't pay taxes all at once if they got cash. Where if they do seller financing and they're getting, let's say, $30,000 a year or $50,000 a year, they're paying taxes on capital gains only on that amount, not the full amount. So that could be a tax benefit for the seller. So keep that in the back of your mind. Are there any other questions? Did I answer all of them? Look
Looks
at the
like you
chat.
did.
Okay.
Did I miss anything, Anna?
I was going through, I think we got all of them. So
Okay.
Does anyone else have
Hey,
any other
I've
questions?
wanted- have you ever been like told on by the previous owner of a subject to that you had to kind of figure out a solution?
You mean
Do you know what I'm
have I
saying?
have I ever, are you saying, has the seller ever called the bank to tell?
Yes, yes, yes,
That's what you're saying?
exactly.
No.
Yeah.
And let me tell you why. Because I have legal documents and disclosures that they sign, first of all. Second of all, why would they do
Okay.
that? I solved their problem. They love me. Like, why would they ever do that? The only reason, and I'll tell you, the only way that they may want to do that is if you make a promise to them saying that you will have their loan paid off by a certain time frame, and then you want to keep it long term and then it's still under credit, they might get upset. But when you
Gotcha.
when you get a, this is the thing, this is a solution. I'm going to give you a big golden nugget. When you have a good relationship with them by putting them first, right? And let's say they have a reason that they're saying that the loan shows up on their credit, because they want to buy another house or they want to refinance. Okay, what so many sellers have done is, that I've bought houses from, they've contacted me and they said, Nayia, what can you do to help us out so this loan does not so count against our debt to income ratio? And I said, easy solution. Okay, I give them a history of my company making those payments to their loan, and I give them a corporate lease agreement where that they could give to their loan officer or their mortgage lender. And by me giving them a history of my company making those payments to the mortgage, that's proof that
Right.
they're not the ones making those payments. And then their loan, their new loan, or it won't be counted against their debt to income. The existing loan will not be counted against their debt to income when they want to get a new loan or they want to refinance a loan. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
so much.
So yeah, they would never want to be like, call the bank. Guess what, Chase? I sold my house to Nayia. Technically, they would be the ones in trouble because they would be the ones in default.
Got it. And we signed those documents so long ago, I can't remember what we had in there. But you're right. You're right. We could provide all those documents to help them if they wanted that.
And Diana and David is asking, have I ever had a do on a sell happen? No. I did not. But even if you do have one, right? What could happen? What options would you have? First of all, chances are, this is the thing. I've worked with underwriters and mortgage lenders so much. A bank, if you're making a payment to a loan and you're current, why would a bank in their right mind take a performing loan and put it in a non-performing category? They would be stupid to do that. Okay. But let's say they find out and then like, okay, the loan is due. They will have to give you a timeline. So what would my options be? If that were the case, I could either sell the property, I could refinance, or okay, I could get a private loan and pay it off. Like there's ways to
Right.
to fix that, right?
Right. Totally. Yeah.
Thank you, Ben. Glad you enjoyed the
So
presentation.
true.
Yeah, any other questions? And I would love to see, more faces on here.
Understand. All right. So does anyone have any other questions for Nayia? Okay, well, Nayia, we definitely want to say thank you so much for your awesome, presentation. And, send me if information that you want me to send out with the recording tomorrow. I can send anything out that you'd like me to. You can email that to me and I'll send that out. And then I'll also get you that recording too. And for everyone else, and even those on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe and share this with people that might benefit from Nayya's information. And we are happy to see you again at the in-person meetup networking on the fourth Thursday of the month. And that's at Wegmans in Fredericksburg, Virginia. And we also have our Florida people on here too. And so you can always message us, and if you need Rick or I's help in either Virginia or Florida, you can call, text, or email. We're happy to help. So
that's awesome.
Nayia,
Thank you. Thank you so much. I had so much fun, and I'm happy that some people took us on our gift offer, and then they schedule calls with us. I look forward to supporting them any way we can. So, Tom, thank you for being here. Rick, you guys were fantastic, and I look forward to seeing you in person sometime soon.
Definitely.
Because it was last
Thank
time I
you,
saw you
Nayia.
was pre-COVID.
Exactly. All right. See you later.
Take care.
Bye-bye,
Have a good
guys.
night.
Thank you.
Thank